From the post-millennial, CNN staffers crash out over after Paramount wins bid to take over parent company Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. In the wake of Warner Brothers' discovery saying that Paramount's counteroffer to Netflix's takeover bid was the superior offer, CNN employees have expressed concern that layoffs are coming. CNN is a division of Warner Brothers Discovery, meaning Paramount and its head, David Ellison, will soon be overseeing the left-wing news outlet. One CNN staffer told Status, "We are doomed." Another one said, "We are effed." Yet another staffer said, "Everybody is reeling about the obvious things." An insider told the outlet of the mood at the news outlet, "The panic at CNN right now is off the charts."
They were already panicking because they hate David Zaslav, even though they work for him.
Like, I mean, their tears are delicious, but
there's nothing.
I know. I was going to say a lot of
there was also, to the point earlier, there was things being said like where filmmakers are like, "I don't know how I feel about them being so cozy to Trump," and I said the same thing you did. I said, "Well, Ted Sarandos from Netflix has been an Obama donor. He was a Hillary donor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he wasn't an Obama donor. He was a Hillary donor. He was a Biden donor, and of course, he hosts Obama through Obama's production company, which has an exclusive deal with Netflix. Were they too cozy then?"
Yeah.
Like, there was a great post that was like, they will never understand their own hypocrisy at the fact that, like, they've controlled every institution for so long that they can't imagine anything not going
to your
way.
point about hypocrisy. It is not hypocrisy. It is hierarchy. It is okay when we do it. It is not okay when they do it.
Yeah,
and
rules for thee, but not for me.
Look, there are reasons to be generally distrustful of any level of consolidation. I do think, speaking purely from the entertainment perspective, because that's my genre or whatever, is like, I think
wheelhouse.
I think that them going to Paramount is the far superior deal because they're going to focus on theatrical releases for the movies and maybe giving more space to the television shows because they're going to focus on putting entertainment first rather than the level of political influence that goes into Netflix productions and stuff like that. But like the amount of money that they've spent on this, it's $111 billion, all cash offer, $31 a share, $47 billion of it coming from the Ellison's private trust. The rest of it's all debt financing. So they also take on all of Warner Brothers' debt, which is like $33 billion, and they pay the $2.8 billion breakup fee that's basically saying they have to pay Netflix for basically pulling Warner Brothers away from there.
It's impressive how you got all the numbers down like
one-on-one. Well, I just did a video on it earlier. So, but the point being is like, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing because the best option here would be that Warner Brothers operates independently and gets to, live and die on their own. But it was very clear 2 years ago when they started canceling projects, basically signing things off to debt so that they could get tax breaks on projects that were already being made at that time, that what David Zaslav wanted to do was sell the company off. But some people don't believe that they would have passed regulatory approval. A lot of people believe that if Netflix had gotten the deal, that Trump's cabinet wouldn't have allowed it to go through. Not to mention that part of the deal for Paramount is there's like a $7 billion insurance on there that if it doesn't pass regulatory approval, that will go to the Warner Brothers shareholders. So, I mean, consolidation is bad, but watching people at CNN worry about whether Barry Weiss is going to be their boss is actually kind of hilarious.
That's one of the best parts about it. Yeah. The Post-Millennial goes on. Netflix CEO Greg Peters said on Thursday that the company was no longer pursuing Warner Brothers Discovery. The transaction we negotiated would have created shareholder value with a clear path to regulatory approval. However, we've always been disciplined, and at the price required to match Paramount Skydance's latest offer, the deal is no longer financially attractive. So we are declining to match the Paramount Skydance bid. Under Netflix deal, the streaming giant was seeking only streaming. HBO and their film studio, Paramount, sought to acquire Warner Brothers' entire company.
The whole thing.
Status said that CNN staffers are also panicking over the suddenly very real prospect that they could be working for Barry Weiss before the end of the year. In October, Paramount bought Weiss's outlet, The Free Press, for $150 million, and Weiss was made editor-in-chief of Paramount-owned CBS News. I love the fact that they're freaking out.
The fact that in their mind Barry Weiss is some like wing radical is just so funny to me.
Do you think that this is going to have an impact on their programming and their actual on-air personalities?
I mean, like, I've already seen, like...
Are they going to bring Don Lemon back?
That would be hilarious.
Oh, my gosh, imagine.
The other funny thing about this, you'll love this, is now James Gunn has to worry about working with David Ellison, and that's which means that maybe you'll get the Snyderverse back.
I would love...
I don't want that to happen.
I want that to happen.
The point being that he's
got that to
I want to see an
old Ben Affleck. I want to see Ben Affleck as old Batman. Yep. That's what I want.
This is the age of fiat. They're liquidating our assets. They're printing billions, trillions of dollars. They're corporately colluding. Now they're consolidating the corporate power as the AI is growing underneath. And I understand sometimes it's fun to laugh at your enemy's pain, but that shouldn't distract you from what's actually happening, that this is a gigantic, because entertainment and information flow are one and the same in a lot of ways. Like entertainment is a type of information flow. It can be a very subversive type of information flow. I don't know. I'm so nervous, dude. I don't know what to do about it. It's like I'm watching it happen, and like, what do you do?
Paramount isn't all good. They made Starfleet Academy, and from what I understand, everybody hates Starfleet Academy.
Yeah.
So, but of course, that's from before Ellison's tenure there, and it's very interesting. Apparently, what we've learned is that no doesn't always mean no if you've got enough money.
Well, no never means no if you got enough money. But to your point, you're talking about AI being the underlying kind of foundation. If AI is going to make people that are creative able to create things in a with less friction, with less difficulty, how is it that the media is still going to be the giant that you say it's going to be?
Because they're going to siphon off percentages of everything that you make.
Why?
5%. You can use like Disney World, the VR realm, where you get to create all the different movies of Disney with yourself as actors.
Talking about licensing?
Licensing. They'll be licensing you percentage of this. It'll be $9,000 an hour or a second if you want to use Harrison Ford in this movie or whatever. And like
$9,000 a second.
Yeah, you'll be able to set your fee as an actor. Yeah. Harrison Ford's probably worth about $9,000 a second if you want him for a cameo in your movie.
I don't think that's
$150,000 would be reasonable.
You mean they're going to be paying Harrison Ford that money?
It would be like subscription fees go to Ford, and then they'd take a cut of that, and that's where the AI starts clipping off bits, and you get this like siphon class, like bankers collecting interest and stuff.
When these actors sign contracts with these studios now, they sign the right of way to, even like most of the time, to their likeness. They're already being used. The same thing is happening to the animators in the industry, where basically if you're getting hired to do animation in Hollywood right now, you're being hired to do work that is going to be used to train your replacement, which is AI.
I think it should be a human right to control of your likeness. Matthew McConaughey has been talking about it lately, specifically. I kind of went the other route. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make my persona free for everyone to use, like public commons, and see how that goes. But the reality is no one else, unless you opt in, should have access to using your likeness for anything, no matter what you sign.
What they're actually getting is the character.
That's what they'll say,
Yeah, because if they're like, oh, we're doing, like, for instance, you mentioned Harrison Ford, right? Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones. Yeah. Harrison Ford is Han Solo. If someone's like, I want to put Han Solo in this thing, well, the character is the property of now Disney, right?
Well, and you can blame the capitalism for that, right? Which is that back in the day, the actor reaped the benefits of this by making massive amounts of money with off the backs of these things being made for. So, like you said, for Harrison Ford, whether it's Indiana Jones or whether it's Han Solo, now Disney, they sign before James Earl Jones died. They have the right to his voice in perpetuity, forever. They can use that voice, and the companies will eventually hit a point where they're not going to need the actors anymore. First of all, like, you're not going to see a rise of new franchises that are going to be that way, be the size of an Indiana Jones or a Star Wars anyways. We don't live in a monoculture anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that's done. Like, it's going to be niche stuff online. They're already planning to set up, it might even be on there right now, for AI uploads on Disney Plus, where you're going to be able to make your own movies and stuff on there with various programs. Tim was ahead of the curve on that. I thought we were 5 years away from that. It was way sooner than that.
Everything is going to happen so much faster.
Disney is in if I remember correctly, Disney has entered into an agreement with OpenAI anyways to give their employees access to AI software to do their job better. So, whatever that means at Disney, they're not good at their jobs anyways. No. But this story is actually, in a lot of ways, it's not actually a good thing. We only think it is because we like laughing at the people who are going to be stuck working for David Ellison.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the part that's delicious about this, right? Is they're freaking out about, oh no, we're going to be taken into the right wing echo chamber and blah blah blah. And that's why I asked if you thought that the programming.
It's possible that there will be a change in the way the programming looks.
Do you think? I mean,
at the same time, Trump said he didn't like when they did the 60 Minutes with Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think it was, and Trump's like, this new administration is just as bad as the old one, even though it was Ellison and 60 Minutes.
Well, I mean, anytime you talk to Donald Trump and it's not glazing him, he's like, no, it wasn't good, blah blah blah. So I mean, I understand that that's kind of par for the course when it comes to Donald Trump. But when you're talking about more broadly, just the way that they treat the right? Because obviously anyone on the right, they're not just on the right; they're a right-wing extremist. That's been something that's been coming out of not just Congress. You hear Congress people and senators saying that. They've been saying it for a decade. Anything that's to the left of or to the right of Hillary Clinton is a far-right extremist. But I wonder if they're actually going to start being a little more fair, and at the very least, their portrayal.
It's possible that purely for financial reasons. I don't think it really matters anyways. I think like these institutions are dying for the most part. Like legacy media as it isn't the cash cow that it would have been 20 or 30 years ago.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's not, and the ones that are prospering are largely taking all of the eyeballs from the other ones. So
yeah, I mean the way that technology is kind of actually manifest. It doesn't actually democratize everything. It hollows it out. So it's basically all the big names just get super huge, and then like the smaller guys find it, kind of struggling over the, fighting for the pieces and crumbs that are left over. Yeah.
Well, and the cycle moves so quickly too. It's like, I mean, we saw the rise of, for example, like Sydney Sweeney so quickly, and it's kind of dying, and it's going to continue to die. Like that's how it's all going to be. And that's why we don't have like you said, like the legacy franchises aren't going to mean anything anymore because everything's so fast paced nowadays. People don't have the attention span for it.
I do wonder what I do look forward to seeing what kind of changes come to CNN. I do think that they're going to make adjustments because they're not just, I mean, no one's going to.
They're dying.
Yeah, well, I mean, I understand that, but the point that I'm making is like no one's just going to be like, well, give it up, guys. Let's go ahead and just pack it in. I mean, they just spent all this money on.
There are going to be changes.
This whole thing. They're going to be trying to cap and do what they can to make their money back and make it a profitable deal.
Mm-hmm. The furthest left people already, I'm not even kidding you, they already consider CNN far right because David Zaslav was in charge of them. So it's like that level of delusion it's not tenable. You can't actually live in that world and expect people to like live in your reality. Yeah. It's not the real world. And this is going to be, and I don't know, like you were talking earlier about the possibility that some of these companies get broken up. Like this is the only other deal that I can think of when I think of like the amount of money that was moved here was like the debt financing that Disney had to acquire to buy Fox back in, what was that, 2018 or 2019? I forget what year it was that they ended up purchasing Fox, but they haven't even made their money back on that really. Not really. Like all they've used it for is to make a bunch of movies that nobody watches because they didn't actually put any effort into marketing the Fox movies. They become avant-garde things like Searchlight Pictures, and the rest of it is like basically Deadpool laughing at 20th century X-Men characters. But they're not making their money back on it, just the way Disney hasn't made their money back on Star Wars.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.